Now we have reached step 6. This is the most important one. This one, this is the greatest one. This is the one people like the best. And if you listen to me, and I mean I need to get nose to you, you listen good. Because if you don't learn this concept, you will never be financially secured. And so there's two important factors here. There are two battles you have to win. That's the battle of inflation and the battle of taxes. Because it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So I'm going to go through this. I'm going to start with you with inflation. Inflation, and go from there. So, do you know the rule of 72? All right. If you were making 4%, divided by 72 equals 18. If you were making 8%, divided by 72 equals 9. So that means if you had $100, it'd take 18 years to make it 2. And another 18 years to make it 4. But if you had it here, if you had $100, in 9 years it was 100. 18 years it was 200. Another 9 years and it would be 400. So this is 18, this is 27 years, where this is 18 years. So you see that this is the same, but quite it's less time than it took the other one. Now I'm going to show you this log here. This guy had $10,000 at 4%. It took him 35 years to get to $40,000. So if you increase that to 12%, by the time he's 64, he had $640,000. So that's a big difference. This guy missed out on $600,000 because he didn't understand this rule. So that's a big thing. $600,000 is a lot of money. So where do you get this kind of inflation? That's the million dollar question is, where do you get this kind of interest rate? Now there's 3 places where you get interest rate. You have the CDs, the mutual money markets, at the banks. That gets you 2 to 3%. It's safety of principal, safety of interest, so you don't lose anything here. Then you go to the other side, the far side, and you have the market. This is when you have your stocks and your mutual funds and the interest, and what they pay you goes up, and then it comes down, and it goes up, and then it goes down. And then you have something in between called the index fund. And there's no loss of principal, no loss of interest, and they're tied to the S&P, and they average about 10%. So where's the best place for your money? That's right. That's right. So over here, it's not about having $10,000. It's about saving regularly, and whatever you can afford. All right. I'm going to tell you a little story. There was this young man that walked into the bank several years ago and asked the banker, because he didn't understand these laws of principle, how much he'd have to be put away in order to be a millionaire by the time he was 65. And the banker told him $1,340. Well, he left the bank dejected because he didn't have $1,340 a month to put into the savings account. So he left the bank, not doing anything, and he's one of those greeters at Walmart. Very nice young man, but he's working at Walmart because he didn't put anything away. Now, if I add the rules and give him, this was done at 5%. What if we can get him 10%? All right, 10%. Then he'd have to come up with $900 instead of $1,340. Well, that saved him a lot of money, but a lot of us couldn't put $900 away. So if we add the rule of taxes, tax deferred, he'd only have to put $300 to $400 away. And some of us could do that. We know some people that can do that. And maybe if we wouldn't spend so much, we could do that ourselves. Okay. But we'd rather do this than work at Walmart. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple stories. Well, first I'm going to ask you a question. If 100 people were retiring today at 65, how many do you think would be financially secure? And financially secure is about $3,500 a year. No, it's 4%. You see, I have a lot of work to do if I'm to raise this from 4 to, say, 75%. So what are the other people doing? They move in with their children. They're living on welfare, or they're still working. You've seen them. They're working at Walmart. Some of my colleagues walked into Wendy's and seen an elderly lady scraping gum off the bottom of the table and off the floor. She shouldn't have been working at her age, but she had to in order to have enough money to live on. I was in Caldwell, Idaho, and I was following this white-haired man out of the Walmart. So we hit the entryway, and all of a sudden he dropped down in front of me, and he was scraping price tags off the floor. Now, I wouldn't want to be doing that, and if I was a step closer, I'd have went right over the top of this young man, because I was more concerned about his beautiful white hair than anything. So, I don't want to work at Walmart, whether scraping gum or price tags. It doesn't make any difference to me. That's not what I want to do, and that's not where I want you. All right, let me show you this. If you had $10,000 here, and you got 10%, in 1 year you'd have $11,000. The next year you'd have $12,100. And what if the stock market crashed? You'd be at 9,600. All right. But if you were in my program, you would be still 12,100. If it tanks for more than 5 years, my company will come back and give you 2% for each one of these years. Okay, when it goes back up, say it went up 15%, you would get 12%. The insurance company would take the other 3 because your father or Heather, you would have bet anyway. That's a given. That's just where they make their money. So, tax-free, tax-deferred, make this a much better option. All right. So, you see that. It doesn't matter that you're not contributing big money. You just need to start something. All right, let me ask you this. If you were financially secured, that means having $35,000 a year, what would you be doing right now? So you have thought about it. And by doing this, you can cut years off your retirement age. All right. So the final step is step 7, and it is wills and states and trusts. And a will just helps your family divide up your stuff without all the fighting and without probate and set it up. So if you were to pick one of these 7 that you need the most, which 2 would it be? Let's just work with 2. Between debt elimination, best what you expect, inspect what you expect, increase your cash flow, debt elimination, develop an emergency fund, protect what you have, and build long-term annual financial independence or estate planning. Which 2 would you pick? All right. So what we do with that is we collect your information. We take it back to our offices and put it through our computer programs, and it spits you out several different scenarios on what you need to invest in order to be financially independent, which tells you exactly with the amount of money that you can invest when you would be financially independent. Now, what kind of money do you think that you can clearly be able to put to this program without hurting your budget? $200. All right. Now I'm going to ask you a series of questions, yes or no questions, and it has to be yes or no. We want to get as close as we can because I know you're serious about this, so we want to be serious about this. So these first 3 or 4 questions have to be specific, yes or no, no maybes, and just answer. All right. If I was to bring you something that fit your budget and showed you clearly where you can retire at what age and fit all your needs, would you be willing to do business with me? Okay. And when would you like to start? Today. Okay. And if I were to show you something that fit your need, would you be willing to introduce me to somebody that could use this also? Okay. Okay. All right. So what is this going to cost you? Well, one of the things it's going to cost you is when I come back to meet with you again to show you this plan, is that I want freshly baked chocolate chip cookies and a cold glass of milk. You were so serious. No, I'm not serious about the cookies. what happens, the way I get paid, as the company that I connect you with will pay me a finder's fee. And that's sort of a commission type of thing, but it's no lot like the others. And these fees usually come out of the insurance side of the contract. Anyway, that's how I get paid. So you're not going to write me a check that goes into my pocket. You might write a check to the company to make it deposit, but not today. So what day would we like to get back together again? Thursday? How about 2 o'clock? All right. Thank you, young sir.